Hi guys, this is Aahil and today we've come to Tim Hortons to meet Hassan Uncle and we're going to be interviewing him about Tim Hortons. So my first question is, why did you bring Tim Hortons to Pakistan?
So thank you, Aahil, for coming to Tim Hortons and for giving me an opportunity to talk to you about Tim Hortons. So I think Tim Hortons, Pakistan needed Tim Hortons because it's a very powerful brand, and if you look at the Pakistani market, right, slowly we are transitioning from a chai-based culture to a coffee-based culture, and Tim Hortons is a brand that masses in Pakistan can relate to, and हमारे region के अंदर Tim Hortons is rapidly expanding, right? So when you look at a business, you look at a few things. One, उस business की पाकिस्तान के अंदर क्या demand है, कितना मार्केट को आप पेनिट्रेशन कर सकते हैं, कंपेटिटिव लैंडस्केप कैसा है, क्या जो प्रोडक्ट आप पाकिस्तान में लाकर बेचना चाह रहे हैं वो पाकिस्तान के अंदर बिकेगा भी या नहीं बिकेगा, ब्रांड कितना पावरफुल है, जिस मार्केट में जा रहे हैं वहाँ पे ब्रांड एक्विटी या लोग उस ब्रांड के साथ कितना रिलेट करते हैं. सो आई थिंक टिम हॉर्टन्स हैड ऑल द राइट इंग्रेडिएंट्स फॉर द पाकिस्तानी मार्केट, और एंड दैट इज़ व्हाई टिम हॉर्टन्स इज हियर इन पाकिस्तान.
Okay, so what is your favorite drink in Tim Hortons? And also, because I've always wondered that if an owner of a business comes to the business, do you still buy your drink or do you just take it for free?
So my favorite drink is our French vanilla. That's basically our the unique selling proposition. And French vanilla, अगर अभी भी हम देखें तो हमारे पास जो सबसे ज़्यादा consumers या customers आते हैं वो French vanilla लेते हैं, और स्पेशली जो बच्चे आपकी एज ग्रुप के, दे लव फ्रोजन फ्रेंच वनीला. सो इफ यू हैव नॉट ट्राइड दैट, आई वुड स्ट्रांगली रिकमेंड दैट यू ट्राई इट. Answering your question, I mean, this is a question that I get frequently asked. Everyone in my family, asks me the same question. So yes, we pay for it because obviously जो हमारे stocks हैं वो linked होते हैं international Tim Hortons के साथ. So जब भी stock store से out होता है, someone has to pay for it. So it's either myself paying or the company paying or the buyer paying, but someone has to pay for it. So nothing in the store is for free. It's just that if someone takes something away, someone has to top up for it.
Yeah.
Because Tim Hortons does not give us free food, right?
Yeah. And also, was your journey easy? Was it hard? Because of course, Tim Hortons is a Canadian brand.
Yeah.
And bringing it from Canada to Pakistan.
Yeah.
Was it hard? Was it easy?
So you're right that Tim Hortons is basically the iconic Canadian brand. Tim Hortons started from Canada, but now, as you know, it's a big international brand, right? But Tim Hortons right now is owned by a Brazilian private equity. So that's, an information that I'm sharing with you. So when we launched Tim Hortons, that was in February, this year. As you know, that things have changed dramatically since then, right? Our economy, you look at the economy, you look at the rupee depreciation, you look at the inflation. So it's a very challenging environment. But with challenges come opportunities. So it hasn't been what you call a very smooth journey. But what I tell you is that if you keep working hard and you look for opportunities and challenges, so you can overcome any challenge. So yes, it's been a rough ride, but alhamdulillah, we launched Johor Town yesterday. You saw the market, you saw the response, you saw the crowd, and mashallah, the product is so good and so powerful. Okay, with all these challenges, we are trying to build new stores. And by December, inshallah, we will have 10 stores of Tim Hortons in Pakistan. So we have about 5 more stores coming up until December.
Wow. Yeah, but I have just 2 more questions.
Yep.
My second last question is that before you started the business, was Tim Hortons still your favorite coffee brand?
Yes. So I talked to both Starbucks and Tim Hortons. But I quickly realized that perhaps Starbucks would not come to Pakistan at this point of time. So my cousin and I thought that perhaps Tim Hortons is a brand that if we work really hard and if we are able to kind of like convince them to bring to Pakistan, they would agree. So it took us about good almost 2 years to convince Tim Hortons to come to Pakistan. So answering your questions, I mean, if you look at the coffee landscape in Pakistan, you have Tim Hortons, you have Costa, you have Coffee Bean Tea Leaf, you have Gloria Jeans, and then you have Second Cup, right? So that's basically what our competitive landscape is. And if you ask me, obviously I'll have a very, very strong bias in favor of Tim Hortons.
Yeah, and my last question is, as you said, Tim Hortons already has, I think, 5 stores.
So we have 4, but we have 5 more coming up.
Oh, okay. So like, once you have 10 stores, and even now, isn't it like a lot to manage? And then you also have to, communicate everything to the people in Canada or Brazil, as you said. So does it get hard to manage, or what? How do you guys manage it? And
so for any successful business, it's never a one-man show. It's always a teamwork, right? So whatever progress, whatever brand power, whatever performance that you see of Tim Hortons in Pakistan, that's a teamwork. So we have about 170 people, team players working for Tim Hortons Pakistan. We have hired the best professionals. So it's an excellent team. So it's not just me, it's the entire Tim Hortons Pakistan team that is working very, very hard to come up with new stores, to come up with new product offerings, to come up with the best customer experience. And then you're right, Tim Hortons International is our principal. So we work very, very closely with Tim Hortons International to make sure that we comply with all the rules, regulations, the standard operating procedures of the international brand.
and I know this was our last question. I have just one more question.
Yeah.
What is your best running store? And what is your best running store?
So we have 4 stores now. So every store is unique in its own aspect. So if you look at this Phase 6 store, that's the flagship outlet, right?
Yeah.
This is the biggest Tim Hortons in the world. So you would,
in the world?
Yes, so this is the biggest Tim Hortons in the world. So you would not come across a Tim Hortons that's bigger than this particular outlet. So if you come here, it's a different vibe, right? So what we envisioned was to make this a go-to place, right? So that where a place where you would want to go with the family, sit there, enjoy the ambience of the restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant. I mean, you've seen it, right? If you go to our Mall 1 store, that again, it's in the heart of Lahore. Great visibility, you can't miss it. Kasuri Road in Alam, then again, that's a very, very populated area. You have all international brands there, you have all famous restaurants there. So that store is basically for that particular segment of the society. Johor Town, as you know, it's a basically an upcoming market, big market. All international brands, restaurants are there. We have a lot of universities around that. We have a lot of housing societies. So, the area was ripe to have a Tim Hortons store. And as you saw the crowds and the queues yesterday, we served about more than 6,000 customers at Tim Hortons Johor Town yesterday. So, if you ask me, every store has its own unique plus points. But the store that I like the most is obviously Phase 6 because that's where we launched the brand from, and that's where the entire brand equity was established.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for coming.
Today.
We are advertising for a chief marketing officer. So I would strongly recommend that you apply for the job. And once you cross 100,000 followers, we'll bring you in as our chief marketing officer.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Aahil.
Thank you.
Thank you.